Hello everyone and welcome to another very nice game from the 1916 Rice Tournament in New York. Capablanca is 7-7 and this is a game right after the previous one that we've shown. Capablanca faces Albert Hodges. He's a very strong American chess master. He was US champion a few years back, and he's also very well known for controlling the ajib, the chess playing automaton. As there were several of them throughout chess history. So this is Ajib. He was controlling this, this automaton, and it's a wonderful game. In those days, over 100 years ago, you didn't have an engine. So when you had a dispute, someone said this line was better, other person said that line was better. It's, who gonna listen to? Lasker says this, Capablanca says this, let's say Tarrasch says that. Both of them are very strong. It's hard to agree with someone. And here is one such case where Albert Hodges uses one such line against Capablanca that Tarrasch used in the 1914 tournament of St. Petersburg. Tarrasch defeated Osip Bernstein with the black pieces, and he almost defeated Emanuel Lasker. The game was drawn, but he had an excellent game with the black pieces. And the Capablanca published a note about this exact line that Tarrasch used, and he said that White did not play that game correctly. And here you'll see how Capablanca uses this line against Albert Hodges, but we're gonna return to that a bit more during the game. So Capablanca opens with e4. We have e5, knight to f3. Sorry, knight to f3, knight to c6. This is a bit too high up, so I don't see the board. And bishop to b5. The Ruy Lopez is on the board. a6, Morphy's defense. Bishop to a4, knight to f6, and now we have castles by Capablanca. Going after this very nice line, knight captures on e4. We have d4 and now b5. Bishop to b3. We have d5 now, and d captures, d5. D5 by black. And d captures on e5, of course, and bishop to e6. And this is where the game took a different turn in the Bernstein versus Tarrasch game. Knight b to d2 was played in that game, but here Capablanca continues in a different fashion. Here Capablanca goes with c3. It's the exact same move Emanuel Lasker played against Tarrasch in the 1914 tournament of St. Petersburg, and the game continues in the same fashion. Bishop to e7, knight b to d2, and now comes knight to c5. And here we have bishop to c2, of course, getting the bishop out of the way. Capablanca is reluctant to part with the bishop pair. We have d4 by black and knight to e4. And this is where Capablanca says that white has the advantage if white plays knight to e4, and that black shouldn't be able to play this for a win. But let's see how Capablanca played this. First, we have d captures on c3 by black. Capablanca plays knight captures on c5. We have bishop captures on c5, and now comes a bishop to e4. You have to do something about this pin, and also the knight is under attack on c6. So what do you do here? You have to block the attack against the knight. You can't move the knight. So you can block with the queen, or you can block with the bishop. The problem with blocking with the bishop, for example, bishop to d7, is that white wins the game on the spot. But it's such a nice tactic that even though the line never happened, pause the video here and try to find the winning move for white in this position. It's just a very nice idea. For those of you who were able to do it, congratulations, you are an excellent solver of tactics that never happened across the board. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, you have to notice that the bishop on c5 is unguarded. So the idea is queen to d5, remaneuvering the queen to d5 while attacking the bishop, and also you're interested in that h5 square, but all will be revealed. Bishop to b6 or bishop to e7 doesn't really matter, as the idea is quite similar. If bishop to e7, then comes rook to d1. You prevent black from castling, because if black castles, then of course you lose the bishop on d7. And now after black makes a move, any move pretty much, you will just play e6 and you win. If you capture with the bishop, then queen captures on c6 with check, and of course if you capture with the pawn, then queen to h5 check will force you to go either king to f8, which is not all that great, because now just bishop captures on c6 wins a piece. You will not be able to recapture because of, you lose the queen. And on the other hand, after queen to h5 check, you can go g6, but now just bishop captures. And if you capture, black loses the rook. If you go here, then it's just bishop h6 check, king g8, and bishop to f7. A very nice bishop checkmate from white's perspective. So already it's only move 14, but there is poison in the position. So queen to d7. You have to defend the knight this way. Capablanca goes b captures on c3, takes away these very nice 2 squares from Hodges' knight, and also prepares this d4 as an outpost for the knight. After we have rook to d8, now threatening to capture the queen on d1, and only now does Capablanca exchange. We have queen captures on d7, bishop captures on d7, and now rook to d1. Again, with some pressure, not allowing black to castle. But here, black panicked a little bit. It's not like black can't castle. It seems like there is this trick of rook captures on d7, rook captures, and here winning a piece. But there really isn't because, well, you still haven't developed your dark square bishop, and you're getting checkmated here. So if black wanted to, black could have castled here. But he went knight to b8, remaneuvering the knight, but this is not one of those cases where a move with the knight back is the strongest move. But okay, now the d4 square is no longer attacked twice, so knight to d4. With bishop back to e7 by black, and now bishop to e3 by Capablanca. Finally, Hodges castles, and rook to d2. Now Capablanca is ready to double up rooks on the d file. What does black do? First, c5, a nice expansion on the queen side. We have knight back to b3 with a double attack against this pawn, and now you could push c4, but then you again give up the d4 square for white's knight, so rook to c8. Defending the pawn this way, but you are losing control of the d file, and Capablanca takes advantage of this. Rook a to d1, doubles up rooks on the d file, and now Capablanca is the true owner of the d file. Bishop to g4, as the bishop was attacked, the threat was rook captures bishop. So bishop to g4 attacks the rook on d1, f3 defending, and only now bishop to e6. And Capablanca now pushes f4 with ideas of closing this bishop's diagonal with f5, where you will not be able to go back. You will have to give up the bishop pair, and that will be great advantage for Capablanca. So g6, not allowing f5, but Capablanca once again prepares it. We have h3, now preparing g4 and f5. So black goes c4, expanding yet further on the queen side, but again giving up the d4 square to Capablanca's knight. So knight to d4, and only now bishop to c5. Now you're not able to capture, of course, here because bishop captures on e3 comes with check. So here Capablanca first takes care of that. King to f2. Now if the bishop captures, you will be able to capture with the king, and black now doesn't want his bishop captured. So bishop back to d7. And now we reach a position where going back with the knight, a move with the knight back is in fact the strongest move, and Capablanca plays it. Knight to c2, and he forces a trade of dark square bishops, which will result in him improving the position of his king. You have to capture, you don't have the option of going back because just rook captures bishop on d7. So bishop captures on e3 with check, king captures, the knight wants to come to d4 either way, and now comes bishop to c6, offering a trade of bishops, and now rook to d6, putting huge pressure on black's 6th rank. The bishop is now threatened. If the knight and bishop moves, the a6 pawn will be under attack, and white will just keep on improving the position. We have rook to c7 with ideas of the other rook coming to c8, but this rook has plans of going to a7. We have knight to b4 now. Again, with a triple attack against the bishop here, forcing a trade on e4, but what Capablanca really wants to do is grab a hold of the d5 square for his knight, and then grab a hold of this f6 square for his knight, and that is just, then you really do have a monster knight. So, bishop captures on e4, with king captures on e4. You can see that even though the material on the board is equal, everything perfectly equal material-wise, Capablanca king, a powerful king, and black's king not really doing all that much just yet. So first a5 by black, knight to d5. You cannot prevent the knight from coming to d5, and even though white no longer controls the d7 square twice, you can't oppose white's rook because just knight f6 check wins the game. Nicely connects with the rook, and it's winning for white. So after knight to d5, we have rook to a7 as planned, trying to well, maybe with b4 you can play a captures on b4 and then open up the a file, but also trying to activate black's knight this way, because this knight is on b8 ever since black panicked in the in the opening where he just could have castled, but he decided maybe it's a bit too dangerous. But Capablanca goes a3, takes care of the b4 idea, and now comes knight to a6 by black. Rook to c6 now. This is just a beautiful move. The knight on a6 seems to be doing something, but not really. Capablanca goes rook to c6, and he just takes away all the squares from the black knight. This is taken. Now the rook controls both c5 and c7. The knight also helps out with the control of the c7 square. And now you can just go back with the knight, which doesn't really do anything, or you can try what black played in the game. Black played rook to b8, now really hoping to push some b4 ideas, but Capablanca just goes knight to f6 check. We have king to g7, and now rook d to d6. And here the knight is trapped. There's no going back with the knight. This is taken, this is taken. The only square available for the knight is c7, but knight to c7 loses very quickly. I'm sure all of you see it without even pausing the video, so I'm just gonna show it. You just attack the knight. Now there's a double attack on the knight. You cannot move the knight because of rook captures rook, and after black defends it, now you just capture the knight. Rook captures, 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 and now of course knight to e8 check nicely connects. Black has to move, and now knight captures, leaves white up a piece with a completely winning endgame. And due to the Capablanca's powerful position of the king, no b4 tricks are even possible in the position. So black realizes that there is no saving the knight. Black just plays b4, hopes to create at least some counterplay, but Capablanca is not going to be fooled easily. He just plays a captures on b4. The knight isn't really going anywhere. A captures on b4, and only now does Capablanca capture the piece. Rook captures on a6. We have rook to c7, of course not interested in trading material, but now just rook a to b6. Opposing the rook here and preparing to capture here. And it was in this position on move 40 that American chess master Albert Hodges resigned the game. Why did he resign? Well, he's down a full piece, and he can either just move the rook and lose the b4 pawn, which is basically his only source of counterplay, even though it's not all that impressive, or he can play rook captures, and after captures you're still going to lose the pawn. If you play something like b3, again knight e8 check, or again nicely connects, you're going to lose the rook and the game. So yeah, Hodges didn't wait for any of this. After Capablanca's rook a to b6, he resigned the game, and Capablanca is now 8 in 8. So 8 wins in a row, which is just, impressive, but it is what we expect from Jose Raul, as he's, the Cuban legend. But yeah, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it and that you've learned something from this. I surely have. It's just a wonderful game, really educational, and also it's very, very nice how Capablanca... Okay, it doesn't really prove anything. The dispute was probably still going on. Tarash was saying no, the line was better for black. Capablanca said the line was better for white, and now Capablanca defeats Albert Hodges with this exact same line that Tarash defeated Osip Bernstein and almost defeated Emmanuel Lasker. But, at least the dispute is still going on, and there's, something going on in the chess world, which is always great. But yeah, once again, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Karanjit Singh, William Hoffert, Hamad Alqaed, Mitchell Young, and Martin Cole for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, hopefully with some more interesting content, continuing the Capablanca saga, checking up on your suggestions, and we are preparing for the Grand K Chess Festival. And I will most likely tomorrow, treat you with the story of the couch, the one behind me. So yeah, thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.